here. So let me jump right into the next bit of information that is really important for when you're working with large data sets. And by large data sets in this case, I mean large data sets like this large data set. Let me just maximize this so you can get an idea. This is a rather large data set. It's a lot of columns and a lot of rows. Now maybe not too many rows, 200 rows. It's not that bad. Still a lot of information. So how on earth can you work with this much data? If I need to be able to see column A, B, C, D and compare those columns to X, Y, and Z, I need to be able to do that, but there's no easy way to do it that's obvious. It's not obvious, but it's there, and it's right at your fingertips. So let me show you what you can do. First of all, there's two different things that I'm going to show you, and it depends on the situation that you're in and what you're trying to do as to which one you're going to choose. So let's take this situation first. Let's say I need to be able to scroll down to row 250 and still see what column I'm in. Because as things stand right now, as soon as I scroll down, I lose track of what column I'm in, and this data is very simple. It's just column 1, 2, 3, 4. But if it were different types of columns with different types of data in them, it would be easy to get lost. Now, the same is true for if I scroll over to the right. You can see these rows. They correspond with the numbers, kind of. They're one off, but they basically correspond with those numbers. As soon as I scroll off, I don't know what row I'm in. And the only way I know is because I know that they kind of correspond. So now I'm just in the middle of my data and I don't see anything. And that's a problem. That is a problem for large data sets. So how do I counteract that? Well, on that same View tab of the ribbon, there is this Freeze Panes option. And what this does is, if you check, we're going to ignore that first option first. If you check out these bottom two, Freeze Top Row or Freeze First Column, this will freeze the top row of what you see on your screen right now. It'll freeze that top row in place. And this one will freeze the first column, the leftmost column, of whatever you see on your screen right now at this moment. It'll freeze it in place so that it won't ever go off the screen. So let me show you how this works. If I do Freeze Top Column, you can see a very thin black line go underneath row 1, because row 1 is, at this point, is the top column, or sorry, the top row on my worksheet. And then if I scroll down, I can keep scrolling and keep scrolling and keep scrolling. And if you look closely, let me get my highlighter out to highlight it. Look closely. I'm still looking at row 1, but I'm also looking at row 149 through 169. And I can compare and I can see and I can do all that stuff. All right, so Freeze Panes, really useful little gadget. And in the interest of time, I'm going to ignore the Freeze First Column because you can figure out how that works. It works exactly as the same as the top row, but with a column. So since we're running out of time, I don't want to waste any time on that. So let me show you this other one. First, let me hit Unfreeze Panes so that it goes back to normal. And then let me show you this other choice, the one that we skipped past. I almost said jumped, and then I said the word skipped, and it came out skipped. So we skipped past Freeze Panes, but I want to come back to it now. The way Freeze Panes works is it freezes the rows above and to the left of the cell that I have selected. So in other words, I can actually freeze multiple columns and multiple rows simultaneously. And I'm going to do that right now. Notice which cell I have selected, because the Freeze Panes is going to freeze all of the columns and all of the rows to the left and above the cell that I have selected. So when I hit Freeze Panes, it freezes the top row and that first column at the same time, which means when I scroll down, I can see what row I'm in and what column I'm in, and when I scroll off to the right, I can still see what row I'm in and what column I'm in. It's pretty magic.